Imagine you're reading a math book, and it says this. A trapezoid is a type of quadrilateral. One type of trapezoid is an isosceles trapezoid. Another type of trapezoid is a parallelogram. If a trapezoid is both an isosceles trapezoid and a parallelogram, it is a rectangle. Another type of quadrilateral is a kite. If a shape is both a kite and a trapezoid, it is a rhombus. Every rhombus is also a parallelogram. A shape that is both a rhombus and a rectangle is a square. Got it? Probably not. Let's look at a picture instead. Why is this easier to understand? In this diagram, you can see both the big picture and specific relationships. Your eyes can wander around the image and take things in whatever order is best for you. All the black shapes look similar to each other, but different from the rounded rectangles, so you can easily differentiate the things from the relationships between the things. Visually putting categories inside each other helps us understand complicated relationships, and it also helps that the more specific categories are lighter. Finally, you can actually see the shapes. You don't have to rely on your imagination. In short, this diagram is easier to understand because it's visual, and there are many things that visuals are good at, while words aren't. Visuals can connect things and separate others, and do that in many different ways, with lines, arrows, boundaries, color, shape, proximity, and more. Visuals can display large amounts of information, letting you see the overall picture and specific data points. You can notice patterns for yourself, and the visual can also point things out for you. Visuals can guide your attention, either explicitly or implicitly. Many visuals can be instantly recognized, no matter what language you speak. Visuals stand out from text and draw your attention. They can give you an immediate emotional response. And while words are fundamentally a one-dimensional medium, since you see or hear them one by one in a line, visuals can take advantage of 2 dimensions, and use things like size, shape, color, position, direction, and even words themselves to represent whatever you want. Visuals can be synchronized with audio, and, unlike words, visuals directly represent a way people perceive the world. What does all this mean for you? The skill of creating good visuals can be useful for many things, such as branding for yourself or a company, presentations, product pitches, papers, posters, interfaces, diagrams, cards, videos. And really, visual skills are useful anytime you want to communicate anything: facts, stories, ideas, emotions, through any medium that ever requires you to look at something. So, knowing how to make good visuals is important, because there are many inherent advantages to a visual medium, because visual knowledge is useful even for text communication, because of all the things you can make, and also because it's easier than ever to create and share visuals. For all those reasons, it's good to be able to craft consistently good visual communication. To do this, you must develop your visual instincts. What are visual instincts? Essentially, they're knowledge or feelings about how visuals work, so that when you're making something visual, you know what you're doing, and you know what to be aware of, so that you can create something that serves your purpose well. When you're talking, or writing, you probably have some idea about how to communicate what you want to communicate, what might sound good or bad, and what effect your words might impart. Having visual instincts means you have a similar control over visual communication. But how do you develop your visual instincts? There are a few things you can do, all of which are helpful in their own ways. One important thing to do is to learn about basic visual elements, such as line, shape, color, value, space, and texture. You can also learn principles about how to make these elements work together effectively, such as contrast, pattern, balance, hierarchy, and directing the viewer's eye. Any visual incorporates many elements, all of which have some impact on the viewer. It's useful to understand how these elements work so that you can control what impact you have and ensure that the viewer understands what you want them to. It's also good to learn specific strategies. Some examples are left align or fully justify body text, use cool colors to convey calm and warm colors to convey energy, and remove everything that doesn't have a purpose. It's also helpful to study examples. Looking at good examples lets you see elements and principles in practice, so you can understand how they can be combined and used effectively. Looking at many different designs also widens your visual vocabulary by familiarizing you with more strategies, solutions, and styles that you can use in your own work. Even looking at examples of bad design can be helpful, as it lets you see what not to do. And, most importantly, you can build your visual instincts by practicing. You need to make visuals as well as consume them to become good at visual communication, just like you need to talk as well as listen to become good at verbal communication. Visuals can be really useful, but only if you know how to use them well. When you develop your visual instincts, you'll be able to take advantage of all of these benefits of a visual medium, and you'll be able to use visuals to serve any purpose you need.